Hey everybody, don't you think that if Jesus was going to pick apostles, he would have picked the best and the brightest? This week in the gospel, we have Jesus picking Andrew and Peter, fishermen. And then he calls James and John, fishermen. They're Zebedee's sons. Now, we're talking about the Son of God here. The Son of God who could have been born anywhere in the world. Athens, Rome, the empire, the best and brightest schools on earth, the best teachers. And yet we have Jesus being born in Bethlehem and raised in Galilee. Okay? The backwaters of Israel. And it doesn't make a lot of sense. Like, wow, this is the Son of God. This is the Messiah. Don't you think it'll be a little different? Be born in Jerusalem, born in Jerusalem and then, studied under like the great ones like Gamaliel? No, not Jesus. So when he calls his first four apostles, now there's more to come, of course, but the first four are fishermen. So it's not like Jesus is operating on a different level. He has a different goal in mind. He's not looking for the brightest or the smartest, the people that really could depend on their egos. He's calling out simple men who live simple lives. It's outside the box. Because later on, Jesus is going to call Matthew, who's a tax collector. All right, that was like the scum of society. I mean, they hated tax collectors. And then he's going to call a zealot. All right, and the zealot party were like the IRA. They were the rebels. All right, they were like the anti-ICE. Okay, and so they don't like tax collectors. So he calls two people on the opposite sides of the spectrum, and he expects them all to work together. Now, looking at who Jesus calls to be in his school, I think to myself, wow, so Jesus picks us all for different reasons, but we all have a reason and a place to serve in his church. So the challenge is, all right, you got Andrew and Peter and James and John who left the fishing business to become fishers of men, to become evangelizers, and Jesus is going to get them to learn a whole new skill set. But they follow the call. And we have to ask ourselves this week, what has Jesus called me to do? He didn't call us to just sit in our pews and just sing some psalms and listen to readings and then that's it. No. Jesus has called us to something, some kind of service. And only you and I know what it is. And we know it because there's a tug in our heart. We're attracted to something. That God, he's calling us, I wish I could do more in this particular field or with this particular group of people. That's how it works. There are things I will never do. I will never build houses for anyone because I can't do that. It's not my skill set. But my brother Eddie can build a house, and he's done that. He's done that for the poor in New Orleans and in other parts of the country because that's the way he feels called to serve, and he does a great job of it. But I've been called to serve as a priest, and I do the best that I can. And so what is Jesus calling you to do this week? Maybe you just haven't really searched hard enough to answer that question. But this gospel is about the calling of the disciples, the apostles. What is Jesus calling you to do?